Welcome back, Tiger fans, to Rock M Radio's football podcast. I'm Nate Edwards. That's Nathan Hurst. This is Before the Box Score. It's Louisiana week, the Ragin Cajuns week, the calm before the storm week, the emotional letdown game before the other emotional uptick game, the lunch Winfield game. Nathan Hurst, what else is this? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. The voice is back a little bit more. Not 100% back, but we're working on about 88%. So good. Definitely an improvement. We'll be full go for Saturday to lose it once again. But that's the cycle that we're in these days, especially when you have 6 home games in a row. But doing good. Excited to see Louisiana in person. Kind of one of those fun G5 teams that you see playing competitive good football for a long time. Like, oh wow, get to see those guys in person. This game hopefully won't be fun and competitive, but it'll be good to have them in town.
They were supposed to be in Faroe in 2020, and then the world shut down. So this is the makeup for that. And right. I much prefer this version of Louisiana than that one, because that was Billy Napier's last year, I think.
That sounds right.
Something like that. I don't remember if Mullen was fired in 20 or 21, but it wasn't much longer. So
it was 21 that he was fired. So actually, that was Billy Napier's second to last year,
which was his best team, I think. That was the one that he fielded. So bullet dodged. But we'll talk about the game. Got some news updates to pass along your way to discuss. We'll start at the top, just bummer news. I think we all kind of felt it, and today it was confirmed. Sam Horn's out for the year. Fractured tibia. Did not anticipate that one. That's he got hit hard, and we all saw it. You just kind of hope that he's going to be okay. And by all sounding, everything went well. He had surgery, and his agent said things are going well, and that Mizzou and the Dodgers have been, super supportive of this whole thing. So I think, long term he's going to be okay. But can you think of a more snake bit athlete at Mizzou than Sam Horn?
In terms of one thing after another, I don't think so. Especially since he's been involved heavily, ostensibly at least, into quarterback battles, and definitely had a rough go of it for sure. At least it sounds like. I mean, in terms of as leg injuries go, a broken bone is probably the best case scenario for him, just in terms of his eventual recovery, how quick he can recover, versus a soft tissue or a tendon, injury. Those can be a lot more finicky to come back from. So hopefully he recovers quickly, is able to pitch this upcoming spring if that's what he wants to do, or if he wants to come back for another year of football next year around, try it again. We'll be happy to have him back. I'm not sure if that's the decision he's going to make. We'll have to wait and see, but best wishes to him on that recovery.
Yeah. I don't remember what they said as far as timeline to heal. But he's not coming back for the football season. So that's done. I mean, I said after the game, when he got injured, I'm glad he got paid when he did, because this sucks. He's not coming back, right? Like this whole football thing has really just been detrimental to his baseball career.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, last year was the baseball career was detrimental to the football career. I mean, it was the pitching that injured his elbow in the first place. But having secured that big deal with the Dodgers, I would be surprised if he was back next year. I mean, I would think they will, once he's healed up, will say, you probably should just come and throw the ball for us and not for them, because you can get hurt in much more nasty ways playing football than you can pitching. I mean, you can still get hurt pitching, but you're not going to break your leg most likely.
Typically, no. That's not a common injury that you see from baseball pitchers at any level. So, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, if this is the end of the Sam Horn era, and I don't want to not burying the guy before he even leaves, but he played in 5 games, threw 8 passes, completed 3 of them for 54 yards, had 1 touchdown, had 1 interception, no sacks, and then 5 rushes for 26 yards. And that's going to be it from the football side. He'll be, he'll have to be more remembered for his baseball. I think, and even that was a shortened tenure, but if you're going into the MLB and you play for Mizzou, like obviously they're going to remember you a little bit better there. But he's such a unique story. He was one of the rare out-of-state 4-stars that committed, especially early on. That was 2022 when he committed. And that was still a novel thing for us to go, oh, a blue chip, a blue star. God, I'm just going to mix up that word forever. A 4-star blue chipper who is not from Missouri, who's committing to play for Missouri. It was a novel thing. And he, not only that, but he was going to play baseball on top of football. It was a cool story. He was going to wear number 21 for both. It's like, oh man, this is a really easy story to get behind. And he was good at both. And then just injury after injury. And now we're here. So, I mean, the Sam Horn legacy, baseball, right? That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he goes on to have a long baseball career, and then we can claim him as a former Tiger in the major leagues, of which there are several still active. I mean, and to be honest, I hope he comes back and plays football. The depth at quarterback position definitely could use him. If he doesn't, though, it definitely will be one of the more disappointing, not really at any fault of his own, but one of the more disappointing careers in terms of Mizzou athletics and the hype coming in versus what actually we saw on the field. And once again, not to any fault of his own, just injuries have kept the poor guy off the field every single year, minus his freshman year when he couldn't get on the field anyway. So it definitely a bummer, but I think if he does make the choice to stay with baseball, it's probably the right one for him.
I mean, his legacy is going to be the fact that he backed up Brady Cook and Bo Pribula. Like, that's pretty good company, obviously. I mean, we're 2 games into the Bo show, but like, he's pretty good. So yeah, I think he'll be a recruiting win for both football and baseball. He's, a great story, dual sport athlete guy who came here, and hope he has a great career in the major leagues. Is he a starting pitcher or a closer? Do you know kind of what his deal is?
Yeah, I'm really not sure how they're going to use him. He mainly was a reliever at Mizzou, but he pitched so little that it's hard to really say. He was still kind of even coming back from injury. He didn't start the season with, it took him several weeks into the season before he even started pitching. And he did start a couple games, but even in those starts, he only ever went 3. I think maybe his longest outing was 4 innings. So I'm not really sure what the Dodgers plan on doing with him.
Well, Dodgers have a lot of good players. They'll figure out something. So yeah, bummer for Sam Horn. Hope he recovers well. Hope he enjoys the football season. And I hope he makes the choice that's best for him. At the end of the day, that's what I want. So yeah, best of luck to him and all that he is going through. And then just kind of a fun, quirky, odd, good story. I don't know. I did not think that Saturday's game was horrendously officiated. I didn't think they were very good, but they were the one thing that I ask every officiating crew to be, which is consistent. They were not calling a lot of things. Pass interference, one of them. And, I thought they let the guys play maybe a little too hard at times, especially when it comes to holding and late hits. Not that there was a ton, but they were very lax on a lot of things. And I thought that was fine because they were consistent. Again, that is all I'm asking for from my officiating crew. Now, the Big 12 had something different to say because they were Big 12 refs. And in college football, in non-conference games, it's the visiting team that brings the officiating crews, so that their conference officials come with them. And the Big 12 came out this week and said that the crew of the Missouri-Kansas game was being suspended and removed from their assignment this Friday because of a misinterpretation of a rule or not enforcing a specific rule. I got to tell you, I did not even notice that Mizzou punted after their first touchdown. I was sitting with a bunch of nerds who do nothing but talk about this sport, and nobody said a peep about the fact that Missouri was punting after their first touchdown. But you can't do that. You have to kick it off from a tee. And the fact that for whatever reason, Eli Drinkwitz asked to punt and the officials said, sure. And then they did it. Now you're not going to get suspended for bad judgment, but you will get suspended for not enforcing the rules correctly. How do you feel about this, Hurst?
The whole thing is strange. Starting with the topic of suspending referees for missing calls in the first place, I am pro that. I actually wish that there was more public transparency and accountability for bad refereeing and bad decision making. Now, I mean, it's an incredibly difficult job, so I feel for guys put in tough decisions, and that's probably why they pointed to this reason as the reason why they were suspended, not the multiple other missed calls. I will say I disagree. I think they were pretty bad across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Now they were consistent, but they didn't throw a ton of flags, which I can
Mm-hmm.
appreciate. And as long as they didn't do it at both sides, but they missed some really big calls. This one was probably the least egregious of the calls that they missed in terms of its impact on the game. Now, could it have had a big impact? That it should. If Kansas fumbled that ball, muffed the catch because it was higher than it normally would have, or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, that could have had an impact. It didn't. Kansas got the ball. They went down and scored on that possession, so it obviously did not affect them at all. I mean, the missed or the bad face mask call was impactful. That led to points on the other
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
There were, they missed on the Mizzou side. They missed a player batting the ball towards the end zone, which resulted in a safety. And then several other, here and there. Was it the worst referee game I've ever seen? No, absolutely not. There have been way worse. But Mizzou always has to be involved in one game a season where there's some kind of impactful refereeing decision or result in rule changes or something. So I guess if we can check this box off for this season and be this the weird referee game for the year and not one against a Kentucky or the like that actually results in us losing a game, I'm all for it. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. We'll move on. It just kind of ends up being bizarre all the way.
I mean, I understand the concept that punting goes higher than kickoffs. I get that, and of course, you're dealing with the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Connor Tollison, which was going to set them back 15 yards. So, like, I understand that it was going to be further back, and I understand that punts go higher, but like, was that the plan to like have them muff the punt? Is that what Eli Drinkwitz wanted?
Well, he was saying that during in the press conference, he was saying that pregame they had noticed that their punt returner or their returners were having trouble with the sun and dealing with which I get, except that the way Mizzou was kicking, they were kicking not. I guess that was the sun that direction. I don't know. The sun was. I mean, it was 2:30 in the afternoon, so the sun was still pretty high up in the eye. It's not like it was at a weird angle where it was going to be really right into their eyes. So I don't know. I don't know. It was a weird thing to even ask. Why would you even think to ask that? Because it's so clear a rule to begin with. When you score, you kick it off the tee. So props to him for even thinking to ask in the first place. I would never have. That just would never have dawned on me. Not that it mattered or affected the game whatsoever at all.
It led to Kansas's best starting field position on the day, and they scored.
Yeah.
What was? Yeah,
it was off of the penalty, which I think is what threw everybody off. It was off that 15-yard.
It did.
Unsportsmanlike penalty. So that's probably more than anything why they had the best field position of the day, setting the whole thing back. But
yes, but also the extra point was blocked. So there's a lot of like frantic energy around the fact that it was returned, and like everyone was kind of like, oh, geez, like it was not a routine thing. And I guess he just wanted to start something. I don't know. But he said he asked because he could, and they did. He treated it like such a victory, like we got one over on him. I'm like, why? I don't see it that way.
And then it results in these guys, getting suspended. That's their own deal. But I don't know if I'd be waving the happy flag about it. It didn't result in anything positive other than these poor guys missing out on a game check. But I don't know. I will say I am pro conferences suspending refs for bad stuff. So. Well, if this leads to more of that, if there's a really egregiously bad officiated game, sign me up. So I'll take that as a positive and move forward from there.
And the missed face mask was bad. I agree. It was not even close. Now, to credit them in a bang situation, the way Jalen Daniels' head moved, I thought it was a face mask at first. I did. And I was, sitting, way up in the press box. So I was like, uh-oh, that's a face mask. But then they, replay it, and clearly it's not. But
the problem was the guy who threw the flag was the up man 30 yards away from the play. There was a side judge and the umpire who were 5 yards away from the play and didn't throw the flag. So why is the guy 30 yards
Yeah.
downfield, not with an angle to even see the face mask, throwing the flag? That was the biggest frustration. Because and that's probably why that call and other calls weren't cited for why they were suspended, even though I think it's probably an amalgamation of all of them, is that those calls in the heat of the moment that are also subjective, those are, you're going to miss some of those. And that happens. And that, we're all humans. So that's fine. That's fine. I get that. But
Yeah.
if you're not in the position to make the call, don't make the call.
Well, no, I 100% agree with that. I feel like there's been more egregiously called games. And especially
for sure.
You could really say, swap it off. The batted ball for the face mask. 2 points for 7, and the officiating industry, brotherhood, whatever we're calling it, they're so tight knit. No one really ever comes out and criticizes, especially like the guys on TV, like the rules experts. They so rarely ever get up and say, "What a terrible call." For anything, you'll rarely get one of those, but they're very, lock arms and defend the profession, which is fine. So yeah, it is refreshing to see accountability, I guess, for lack of a better term. Really, it's just referees are there to make sure that like the game is fair and that the fans don't have any leg to stand on of like, this is fixed, right? Like the ending result is fixed. And I know this isn't Ohio State, this isn't Alabama, it's Missouri and Kansas. I don't think anyone's thinking that they're part of the deep state that the refs are always letting them win. But they need to be there to make sure that the rules are consistent and enforced and that it doesn't feel like it's a fabricated finish. And I didn't feel that way in that game. So it's just weird that this is the one that ticks it. Now, like to your point, if that starts this sort of thing, I'm good with it. I have no doubt that officials are held to a high standard. It is a hard job, like you said. All respect in the world for what they do, because someone's got to do it, and it's not a great paying job. But yeah, being front facing and kind of putting it out there for the public to know that, hey, you got to be good, or else you're not going to have this job. I'm fine with that. Accountability is good, but just a weird one to pick out. That's all. So they must have been really bad, really bad if they're willing to do that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Okay, so the game day got Louisiana come on deck. What's your favorite? You said you've watched Louisiana in the past. What's your favorite Louisiana Ragin Cajuns football moment, if you have one?
I don't think I have a specific one, but I did enjoy, and this is going back 20 years, but they had a run where they won the Sun Belt several years in a row, and at the time, at least, the prize for winning the Sun Belt was going to the New Orleans Bowl, which is basically like a 30-minute drive for them. And so for like 5 years in a row, they're in the New Orleans Bowl every single year and playing in the Superdome against some other random like Conference USA the fourth place team in Conference USA. So I just have memories of because it was always the first. At least back in the day, it was always the first bowl game of bowl season on like a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And so I was getting really excited for it. It was like, bowl season, first bowl game. Let's watch this. And it was always a terrible game. And I couldn't tell you who won. Because it would always be Louisiana versus North Texas and it was
never Louisiana that would win. That was the best part.
Yeah, they would lose it. And it was a home game for them every time. And they would lose it to whatever terrible CSU, Conference USA team was playing them. But it was the first game of bowl season. So I was locked in no matter what.
Yeah. I think my favorite moment is also from an RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. It was towards the end of that run, and for warm-ups, Louisiana, the entire team went out in pads and did the Oklahoma drill, and then their strength coach headbutted everybody, even if they were wearing helmets. And so he was on the sideline because he was also the get-back coach. He was wearing sunglasses inside, and he was bleeding profusely from his shaved head. It was just coming down here, and like he would not wipe it off. Like that is such a strength coach, man. Like that is.
He was probably concussed at the time too. Just not really sure. Yeah, not really sure where he was or what he was supposed to be doing. But as a strength coach, you really don't have a lot of duties during the game. Other than just look awesome. So he was looking like a badass, and that was his whole job.
job accomplished. That's why you got the checks to him. So that's probably my favorite. And I hope that guy's doing well. I hope he's mentally well. I hope he's having a good day. But yeah, Louisiana had a good run there. Good-ish run, kind of getting out of the rut. In the late aughts, I should say, early 2010s. Then they kind of fell apart a little bit more, and then Billy Napier comes in, organizes everything, makes them mean as hell. Great defenses, just bulldozing offenses, and just run the table. They recruited better than anybody else in the Sun Belt and just beat that ass for like 3 or 4 straight years. Funny that that doesn't happen in Louisiana, and that doesn't happen in Florida either. What a missed opportunity there. But this Michael Desormeaux, there we go. I've written that name a lot. I've not said it out loud a lot. Michael Desormeaux was the offensive coordinator for Billy Napier in that last season. So this offense is very similar to what they want to do. It's just that they're not very good this year because their all-world transfer quarterback, Walker Howard, is he hurt himself and he's out for the year. So
all world is being kind, but he was
coming out of high school
to be their started. Yeah,
he was the third best quarterback in the nation when he came out of high school. Okay, and playing for Louisiana. I know the trip makes you think that he's not all that good, but the potential is there. But he football died, and now they have a freshman quarterback playing. What do you think about this game? Does this feel trappy to you? Does this feel like business like usual? What are your vibes?
It doesn't feel trappy at the moment. I mean, it doesn't. If Howard was healthy and playing when there's going to be a threat of a multi-dimensional offense where they would be playing, and you're like, okay, there's a legitimate shot that if things go right and Mizzou doesn't come to play, especially on defense, that they, could move the ball and, put some points up on the board. It could feel a lot more trappy, but looking at what they've done the first 2 games, it's incredibly one-dimensional. And it happens to be the dimension that Mizzou's really good at stopping. They gave up Kansas, 3 yards on the ground against a much better running team than Louisiana is. And Louisiana's, got a couple good running backs. They can move the ball on the ground. But if that's all you're really worried about, and you've got a true freshman quarterback who has 86 yards in his career, passing, trying to open things up, I don't feel too worried about it, to be honest. That said, I mean, as G5 goes, this is one of the more talented G5 teams, I think, minus the quarterback position. So if you're not ready to go, if they're not ready to go, if the Tigers are not ready to go, this could end up being a closer game than we'd like it to be, or that it needs to be. But if they come suited up, ready to hit, ready to play, ready to execute, I don't think it'll be, even if the score isn't a 60-point spread, it won't look like it won't feel like a super close game.
Yeah, I mean, don't look now, but Bill C and SP Plus see Missouri as the 13th best team in the country right now. 20th best offense, 19th best defense, according to SP Plus. We talked about the post-game win expectancy against Kansas, 96%. Yes, that is true. They whipped him. Now, the first quarter wasn't that, but every other quarter was. So this is a good team. And now they're top 25 in the AP, which is nice. On the flip side, Louisiana, our favorite Ragin Cajuns, 92nd in SP Plus overall, 97th ranked offense, 87th ranked defense. They lost to Rice, which is always Rice, but in this case is a rebuilding Rice with a brand new offensive scheme. Whoops. And then, they did beat McNeese, which is kind of an in-state rivalry, 34-10, which is, doesn't fill you with joy if you're a Louisiana fan. And now they're on the road, coming to Mizzou. When I broke down kind of the offensive matchups, and boy, they're really good at not giving up explosive plays, Nathan Hurst. I don't know how much of that is scheme versus talent.
Or they played Rice and McNeese State.
They played Rice and McNeese. Yeah, I think that might be it. But they're also not very good at stopping really anything at all. That's the benefit of being the 87th best defense. As I see it, throw some easy passes to Norfleet and Coleman. Let Hardy and Roberts do their thing. And then let's see some backups. How do you feel about that?
I think that sounds great. I don't think this is going to be a super high scoring game. If you said they don't give up explosive plays, that's fine. This offense doesn't really need to be explosive to move the ball, as they've shown over the last several years. So I think Mizzou will run the ball fine. Will run the ball well. I think Pavila won't have to throw for 330 yards. I would be surprised if he broke 250, to be honest, just because I think the game will be at a point where he's not going to have to be opening up and throwing it downfield. I also don't think it's going to be that high scoring, even if it is a blowout, if you will. So it could feel like a more boring Eli Drinkwitz special 31 to 31-7, 31-3 type of game, but be in total control the whole time, because Louisiana can run the ball a little bit, but Mizzou is really good at stopping that, especially when you can keep your Dalen Carnells in the box and do what he does really good, which is sniff out run plays, sniff out quarterback stuff. So, I'm feeling pretty good about it all the way around, to be honest.
Well, I did not anticipate this. So Missouri is currently averaging 6.07 points per scoring opportunity. For the amount of time I have complained about Eli Drinkwitz, low scoring, points per scoring opportunity, they currently rank 10th in the nation. And now part of that is you played Central Arkansas, but you also played Kansas. And you're 10th in the nation. A lot of teams have played FCS teams at this point, and you're 10th in the nation. I am choosing to believe that some of that is because you don't have a reliable kicker, and you had to go for 4th down 5 times to finish with touchdowns rather than field goals. But I will say, other than wanting to see like the backups, like some other offensive lineman combinations, obviously young running back Davis, I like to see a little bit more Tavoris Jones. We really want to see Sean Terry out there, James Madison, and Matt Zollers, of course. But other than that, I'd really like for Missouri to intentionally set up Lil Bobby Meyer to kick some field goals. It's not a ton of pressure. I mean, if you want to do it in the first quarter when there is a little bit of pressure, I'm fine with that. Just show me that he can do it, because we know he can do the bunnies from within 30. And I know he's a well-regarded kicker from this last class. I need to see it, because there's going to be some point this year where he's going to have to kick under pressure, and I'd like some live reps here when the ability to recover from the potential mistake is a little easier. That would be my request.
Right. Yeah, and he doesn't need to be kicking 50-yard field goals, but something in the 35 to 45 range right there, where you got to get your leg into it. It's not a chip shot. It's not an extra point. But get him practice getting out there, getting set up, kicking it, and a couple times. So, hopefully they could do that early. Yeah, as you said earlier on, where the stakes are a little bit higher, but also where it's not feeling like it's the fourth quarter and you're just running up the score to try to get the kicker some more reps. So maybe that, if on 4th and 1, where against Kansas they would have 100% gone for it, they decided to just run out the kicker instead this time to give him a shot. Yeah, I'm all on board for that too.
And then when Louisiana's on offense, I mean, they're going to run the ball. Rocky M alum Quentin Corpiel did a cut up on Twitter today of specific offensive plays from Louisiana, and it's exactly what the numbers tell you: short passes, screens, trying to break one, and then running the ball. So things that Missouri can stop is basically what I'm saying here. Keeping Dalen Carnell in the box is good, because he's going to be able to feast no matter what they do. What I did find interesting is kind of looking at the advanced stats and kind of playing off of PFF. That offensive line is got some issues for the Cajuns, and specifically the left side of the line. Their left tackle, I feel bad for the guy, but again, you played McNeese and you played Rice. Their left tackle is allowing a 12.5% pressure rate over 2 games. For comparison, we've been kind of concerned about Caden Green's performance at left tackle, right? Yeah. He's allowing a 3% pressure rate.
And he didn't go against Rice and McNeese State.
And he didn't go against Rice and McNeese. You're right. Yeah, so that's an issue. And then when running the ball, both their left tackle and left guard combined have a 7.4% blown run block rate. There we go. You will rarely see blown run block rate higher than like 4, and this is 7.4. They are they are struggling on the left. And I would love to see just a rotating circus of Damon Wilson and Terrace Smith and Zion Young. Just go get them, boys. Go rack up some sacks, because it counts for the record books. Let's go have some fun. That's my request.
Yeah, if this is a stat pad, if there's a stat padding game, well, other than UMass left on the game, this would be it. So go out there and get a couple, even if it's in the third quarter and you're, it just feels sad at that point. Go for it.
That's why we're paying them the big bucks, right? Like, this is, we're going to help you fund your athletic program. You're going to give us a win, and you're going to make our dudes look awesome. That's the trade-off. Now, I say all that. This is a real, actual FBS program. Okay, these are actual athletes. Some of these guys are the best athletes their hometown has ever seen. Okay, I don't want to fall into the trap of playing this off and say there's no way that Missouri can lose and this is just a big joke and all that. Like, I don't want to fall into that trap, because it's not true. It's just Mizzou is so much better than they are in every facet that this should be fairly nip tuck. And if it's not, then we got some issues. But I don't know. I know I asked if he was a trap game, and that's mostly because Kansas was last week and South Carolina is the week after this. I can't even get myself to buy into it. Like, it's just not.
No, the vibes aren't there for Louisiana for it to be a trap game. And you're right. This is a well-established, well-run program. They won 10 games last year, and they've won 10 games multiple the last 5 years. So they win a lot of games. They're very good in their conference, and they were actually picked to win their conference this year had their quarterback not gotten hurt in the first game. So it just seems like the way they're constructed isn't constructed in a way that's going to challenge Mizzou. Now, if it was a team that struggled defending the run, and maybe a little lighter in the front line, then if they hold onto the ball, run the ball, control it, shorten the game, you could see a path there for them to beat some more talented teams. But the way that Mizzou's constructed versus the way that they are, it just doesn't seem like it really is a matchup that is conducive for Louisiana to do much of anything, to be honest.
I agree. Mizzou has a 94% win probability, according to SP+. Do you want to throw out a score prediction?
Yeah, as I said, I think it might not be a super high scoring game. I think they may score fewer points than they did against Kansas, because hopefully that's because by the time we're halfway through the third quarter, we're not having to throw the ball down the field as much. Also, just Louisiana likes to run the ball. Mizzou's going to be able to run the ball. I think it's just going to be a shorter game, fewer possessions, fewer plays. I think it's something around 31. I'll give them 31 to 6. 31 to 6. I think Louisiana might get a couple field goals out of there. I don't think, unless it's a kind of a garbage time touchdown, I just don't see a world minus some huge breakdown, which to be fair, this secondary has been known to do a big breakdown, bite on a play fake and let somebody open deep. There's a world where that could happen, but we're gonna not live in that. Choose not to live in that world, at least before Saturday. So I'll go 31 to 6.
Okay, I'm gonna say 38-14. I'm gonna say this game gets to garbage time really fast, and so you get a lot of backups playing, and they just young guys are gonna young guy. They're gonna, like you said, big play goes somewhere, or you misread something like that. So I'll say 38-14, but also just win, please. That's all I'm really asking for, and nobody get hurt. Also, that, please, God, no more people getting hurt. Yeah, that's my quest, and that's going to be the show for today. We'll get back to it. Maybe Saturday night, maybe Sunday night. We'll see how everything goes. But we will, of course, be here covering the game for the rest of the week, giving you all the coverage that you're used to. Again, you're excited for the game as much as we can. But for now, we always appreciate the downloads and the subscriptions. You can leave a comment or rate us. We love all types of feedback from you all. You can follow us on Twitter at Matt Nate G. Edwards, and he is at Burst to Hurst. And, of course, you can follow the Rockham flagship at Rockham Nation and the podcasting outlet at Rockham Radio. And we appreciate you tuning in this time. We'll try to do better next time. And until then, MIZ.
ZOU.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not the Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. And we'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.